Now I've got here a 4G antenna for us to take a look at today on the bench. It's a 4G LTE MIMO antenna, so it's got two connections, but the one antenna, we've seen similar things to that before. But there's a bit of a backstory to this antenna and why I picked it up for us to take a look at. I get a lot of emails, at least 2 or 3 a day, from various selling websites wanting me to review their products, and I never have, and I'm not interested. Basically, you know, if you're looking to what is expected from you to do a review from one of these companies sending you free stuff, you'll understand why I don't. Basically, they don't want the negative reviews, they only want positive reviews, even if their product is a piece of crap. But I picked this one up because I had a browse from this persistent one who kept emailing me, and I didn't purchase it from the website, but the same seller sold this on eBay. So I picked it up off eBay, and the reason I picked it up is because the advert claims 49 dB of gain. Now I have to say that on the outside of the box I can't see anything claiming 49 dB of gain, and on this particular website where I got the email from, he doesn't claim 49 dB either. But as I say, the exact same seller with the same username is selling this on eBay claiming 49 dB, and it's just a competition between these different sellers. It gets a little bit silly on the claims, and even with a dish setup you're not going to get 49 dB of gain. Even with, you probably need a 3-meter dish to achieve something like that. It's just out of the question, especially with a simple tabletop panel antenna. So I thought it'd be interesting for us to take a look at this and just see what you get for your money. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I paid about £8 for this. And the other thing with these as well is, you know, I paid about £8 for this. It's probably worth £8. It's probably going to only have about possibly 6 dB of gain if we're lucky. But if this had 5G on the front of this, and it was 5G capable, so it was 4G, 5G MIMO antenna, you're looking at a price increase of probably, you know, the seller would be wanting to sell this for around £60, believe it or not, at the minute. There's a big price hike for anything that's got 5G on the front. So some of these antennas that are claiming 5G, just be really careful, because you're not getting value for money. Yeah, it's probably 5G, but at the end of the day, you might be better off spending your money on a pretty decent 4G antenna from a reputable manufacturer, rather than buying a cheap 5G capable antenna off of eBay. And we will get some in, but at the moment I'm not, you know, I'm reluctant to pay the price for what they're asking for them, just so we can take a look at them on the bench, especially when I have a good idea what's on the inside of them anyway. So inside the box then, it's just the antenna, and it doesn't say anything about the gain on this particular antenna. No 49 dBs of gain. Seems pretty hollow, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. You get a little stand with it, get some wall plugs and screws in case you want to attach this to the wall permanently. I don't know why you would. Interestingly enough, we've got TS9 connectors. Now it does say on the box, and it has a picture on the box where it has SMA. It said SMA in the description as well on eBay. Don't get any kind of adapters TS9 to SMA, so for the price of this antenna you can probably spend more buying some little adapters if it's SMA that you need. But let's hook this up to the network analyzer and see what kind of responses that we get from this. It apparently works from 700 megahertz all the way up to 2.6 gigahertz, 2600 megahertz there. But yeah, we'll take a look at it and see how well it performs on the network analyzer. Here it is on the test bench then, and I'm testing this. I'm testing both of the inputs of the antenna on the same time, so we're going to look at both traces at once. So here we are on the network analyzer then, and I'm scanning from 500 megahertz here all the way up to 3 gigahertz here. The reason I'm doing that is because this antenna is supposed to be a wideband antenna. It's supposed to work from 700 megahertz, which is around here, all the way up to 2.6 gigahertz, which is probably in this area here. But as you can see, we're only getting this one response, and this one response is around 1800 megahertz, 1700 megahertz to probably around 2 gigahertz. Let's move the cursor and take a closer look. So there's 1700 megahertz there, and it starts to dip 1800 megahertz, and it goes up again just over 2 gigahertz there. So in reality, this antenna only works in this one area, and if you just purchased this and plugged it into your router, you wouldn't really have a clue about that. So the antenna is not taking full advantage of the spectrum, because I mean, especially with the 5G now, we've got 4 frequencies of interest, but in the 4G we do have 3 frequencies of interest, around 2.4 gigahertz to 2.6 gigahertz, and then we have the mid-range ones, 1700 megahertz to 2 gigahertz, 2.1 gigahertz, and then we have the lower band, which is around 700 megahertz to 1 gigahertz. But as you can see, this antenna doesn't live up to its specifications that it's got on the box. Only works in that one area, so yeah, it's pretty poor. Now, so far for this antenna, it's not looking very good for this antenna, especially if this was a review. We already know that the claimed gain of 49 dB is completely ridiculous, but we've also just found out that it doesn't work at the frequencies, the specifications on the side of the box either. It just works in that one area, and yeah, it's already a bit of a letdown, and we haven't taken a look at the inside yet. But as far as the coax, it's just this cheap coax that you've seen before. I mean, it's a shame that they've crimped a perfectly good connector onto this pretty damn poor speaker wire, really. So as you can see, we managed to get into this. It wasn't glued down, it's held on with clips, which is always nice because we can use the case to possibly put something else inside in the future. You can see we've got nothing elaborate in here. We've just got 2 folded dipoles here, and it's certainly not 49 dB of gain, but we've got the 2 folded dipoles. You can see the reverse on the underside there, and we'll remove this and take a look at it. We've got this back reflector here, which is quite a thick piece of aluminium, really. We're used to seeing things like aluminium tape on here, so it is a directional antenna. The coax is not grounded onto the reflector though, so you're going to lose some of the reflectivity of the aluminium because it's not grounded in there. But yeah, 2 simple folded dipoles. If I had to guess the gain, 2, 4, 6, 8, take away 2, 6 dB of gain. That's kind of potentially what you'd see from a folded dipole like this. As I say, 6 dB, maybe 6.5, being generous. Certainly you're losing some of that gain because the reflector's not grounded in, but if the reflector was grounded in, then these would have to be redesigned to take that into consideration. It would knock the frequency off, of course. But we've got the 2 coax going in here, feeding onto each one of these folded dipoles separately. We've got the one in the horizontal here and the one in the vertical here, so it's taking care of both of those. But yeah, it's not exactly a high performing antenna. So here's a closer look at the underside, and I've peeled back some of the coax just so you can see the kind of coax you get with this kind of antenna that's built down to a price. And decent coax is expensive, and that's something you have to factor in when you're buying an antenna. There's no point in buying a really good antenna from a proven manufacturer and then using some cheap coax with it, but because then you'll lose all your energy that you're trying to feed to your antenna. But this kind of stuff, I've called it speaker wire in the past, and this is no different really. But interesting, on the underside we've got a slightly different pattern in the back here. So these are the grounds of the dipole arrangement, and these are the main active elements. You can see there how it's soldered in place. But this one's soldered at the bottom here, and this one's soldered in the middle. And as you saw, we didn't quite see on the network analyzer those two lines, you know, from the vertical and the horizontal line up perfectly. I wonder if, because they've soldered it on in a different position here, whether that affected it in any way. Potentially it could, but yeah, it's just sloppy. But yeah, nothing special at all. And here's the piece of aluminium, and it is 2mm thick, as I say, but yeah, because it's not grounded, you kind of, you know, you lose a lot of the benefit from having that reflector. You always want to try and make sure your back reflector's grounded if you can when designing a antenna that's directional. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll keep purchasing these antennas as I go, as well as showing you how to make your own, of course, because we do find a lot more of these that are just complete rubbish than we do diamonds. And if this was a review and it being sent to me free of charge, this is the reason I don't do it, is because I'd probably be swayed into not being so critical with this antenna, because they wouldn't send me another one. And that's the reason why I don't do paid reviews, and why I'm really grateful to the Patreons for helping to support this channel. But we always learn something when we open one of these up. That's why I like doing it myself, and I know some of you enjoy it as well. So, you know, comments or questions, drop them below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll join me on the next one, and hopefully we'll have a much better one to take a look at.